Next goes like this. Partnership. Teamwork is critical. Rodeo riding. She started talking about rodeo. I like rodeos now. I like rodeos because I like what they do. Those little animals. Remember those calves, right? And there's a big horse and rider and this little pitiful little calf. Go, calf! And here comes the big horse. And the lasso, right? And you lasso. I mean, it's not a fair fight. You know, I like not fair fights. Really, it's kind of fun if you're on the powerful side of the not fair fight. So you take the lasso, you get this poor little calf, and then what happens? The horse stops. The calf goes out there, feet goes up, it lies down. The man gets off and he runs as fast as he can to the calf. He takes 3 legs, he wraps rope around it, he holds up his hand, and they time it. Fastest time wins. What's interesting to me is what that horse is doing while the cowboy is running towards the calf. The horse knows this calf ain't no dummy. He's trying to get up and get out of this situation. Sometimes it does. Frankly, I found over the years, that's who I root for is the calf. Get up. Come on, get up. Make this cowboy look like an idiot. Get up. You can do this. Because sometimes the calf will. Sometimes the calf will get up, get out of the lasso and run away, and the whole place erupts. But the horse knows its job. When we got the calf is going to try to get up, so go back. Hold the line taut. Make sure that I'm working as a team with this cowboy, or my cowboy gets embarrassed. And ultimately I'm embarrassed. It's a teamwork dynamic. And meek horses work well on teams. And Christianity is a team dynamic. We sometimes forget it. But at the end of the day, there have been more scandalous situations come up because Christians can't work together as a team. In local churches, and it certainly happens a good bit on the mission field as well. And we got to be able to work as a team. Then this. Loyalty. Meek horse has an elevated sense of loyalty and commitment. Think back to the days of the Wild West and the Pony Express, she said. The lives of these mail carriers depended on the horses they rode. Pony Express horse needed to be swift and hardy, certain measure of grit, kept going no matter what. But they said, and there are stories of these horses that would die in the running if that's what they were called upon to do. Actually, their hearts would burst within their chests. Well, that's some pretty serious stuff. But they were bent on completing the course, despite the heat, the parching thirst, the rain storms, Indian attacks, injury. They never whinnied or went into protest. They just kept going, and meek people are like that as well. There's a loyalty that is rare to find. And then this, perseverance. One more thing, said the horse trainer. A horse doesn't become that way overnight. It takes a long, hard period of training. A horse has to be captured, broken, and made accustomed to the instruments used to harness their potential and lead them to productivity. The instruments don't always feel good. The training, being captured doesn't feel good. But if you do it, there's rich dividends. Now we talk about let's look here. Let's look on bottom page 2, the meek Christian. Don't look up at the screen. Just go with me here. What does it mean then for us to become truly meek? My friend's description of meek horse would describe the characteristics of a dynamic Christian. Willing to undergo hard training so that no coercion to obedience is required. Are you willing to go through the hard training? I remember Dennis Kinlaw saying something along these lines. He said, if I knew that I had 10 years to live and I was going to spend those 10 years in ministry, I would spend 3 of them going to seminary. Wow. Because he knows it's that critical to make sure you get the training necessary to be productive, because it would make those 7 years so much more productive than simply going it and saying, I'm winging this for the Lord. I'm doing the best I can do with my intellect. I don't know if he's right at that point, and I think it differs from person to person. But you guys are in training right now. You're not doing this for kicks. You're doing this because you think this may be what the Lord wants me to do in order to train for the next 40 years of my life. Now, you need to talk to the Lord to say, is there further training I need to get? And this might be what happens. You might be in ministry a while and say, I want a refresher. Right, Chris? I need to get back in. I'm not doing this, for any reason necessary except to say, I want to stay on the learning curve for Jesus Christ. Maybe you can do something in this course, or with this semester, or this year, or with this next 3 years of getting this degree. Maybe you can do something in my life that couldn't have been done any other way. Listen, I don't know about you. I need a coach. I need someone to kind of put the whip across my back to do some things I wouldn't ordinarily do. You probably wouldn't have read Richard Foster if someone hadn't made you do it. Hate to say it, you probably wouldn't be praying an hour a day if someone wasn't making you do it. That's what training is all about. You train in order so that you can keep it going and make sure that your productivity is so much greater down the line. I just need a coach. I need someone to kind of crack the whip on me a little bit. That's what training is. Next. An intimate relationship with the Master. An intimate relationship with the Master that gives him the ability to sense the false and confusing direction of the evil one. That gets back a little bit to John 12. The way we talked about that yesterday, if it happened that way, it may well have been that's exactly what was happening to Jesus. Could the devil have been right there tempting him? He says, no, I know that. I know it sounds like a better deal. More money, that's always a better deal, right? Better house to live in, that's got to be a better deal. Better disciples that'll have more influence, that's a better deal. A longer life, in other words, I don't get murdered in the next week, that's a better deal, yeah? No, it wasn't a better deal. That makes no sense at all. But that's what he came to realize. In that moment, and really with probably the entire 3 years, he knew what he was supposed to do. He knew his destiny. Working with the Master in tandem, even when his immediate presence is not felt. Unshakable confidence in your orders. Unshakable confidence in your orders. Jesus says, go and make disciples of the nations. You don't have to wonder if that's in his will or not for your life. He told you to do it. There'd be some like Calvin and Luther said, he was just talking to the 12 there. Never anybody else has to mind that. And John Wesley said, hogwash. That's for all people, for all time. Anybody that's a Christian ought to be listening to that directive. Luther in the 16th century may have said it best. I've held many things in my hands and I've lost them all. But whatever I have relinquished to God, that I still possess.